Hello, Artbeat Creative Community. We are here live on YouTube. So for those that don't know, we're part of Artbeat Studio, which is a nonprofit that believes in the healing power of art. So we have an artist residency over at Artbeat, and then here at Portage Place we have Studio Central across the way where you can come make art in person, but we are here at Upbeat Artworks online, so we can get to the people that cannot be here in person, and we are surrounded by lots of alumni art from the artist residency. So since we have the opportunity to be surrounded by the artwork of our alumni, we're going to show off one artist's work today, and we're going to read their bio and show off some of their new pieces that are quite incredible. So I will flip the camera around and we'll get onto that. So there's Kate.
Hi there.
I always forget to introduce myself. I'm Ollie. And this is Kate.
And this is a very beautiful Morgan's art piece, which is a mask, and I will read Morgan's bio. Morgan Webster, born near Edmonton in 1986, moved to Winnipeg during early teen years. From age 8, they planned to make a career making art for video games. They drew characters and only later discovered the physicality of paint, which overcame the potential distraction of digital art. Morgan remained mostly self-taught with training videos and help from other artists. In Quebec, they spent time on ships off the west coast and came to love water and ocean. With a strong musical background, Morgan played in a bagpipe band and enjoyed choral singing. At the University of Winnipeg, they took courses in post-colonial and diaspora literature and in Greek art and architecture. At RRCC, they took technical writing and project management. Morgan's work includes watercolor and watercolor ink washing paper, with added elements of acrylic and crayon. They also do origami sculpture and display an interest in the history of spinning and knitting by making textiles from wool hand spun on a drop spindle. Their abstracts include geometric and cosmic elements. Verging on abstraction are scenes of beaches and water fauna, some mythical. Some architectural pieces reveal Morgan's interest in M.C. Escher. One multimedia piece shows a pen and ink offshore oil rig, nearly ephemeral and seriously off-kilter beside a colorful pastel oil slick under somber gray-wash skies. I love science, human history, prehistory, magic, and technology. I try to act in tune with ethical principles and be a load-bearing person, Morgan says. Artbeat has awesome people, energy, and good vibes. Photo by Ollie, bio by Michael.
Oh yeah, I took this one. And then we forgot when we showed off the prints to show some of these ones, so we also have some new ones here that we can look over as well. You may notice, if you have a good eye, some new art from the recent group of graduates from the residency, which we'll probably show off at some point. But for now, we'll get into the art.
What we chose today is quite a standard execution of what we're making. It's just a bookmark, very simple with attachment or not. So I brought connectors to actually attach anything to it, which could be a charm or it could be anything else. But we just simply paint with watercolor, and we have paint markers. So starting with basic elements which could lead us anywhere. And we have quite interesting choices, and I just brought this rock as a reference for someone who might like the idea of a little dragon, the year of the dragon.
Oh yeah!
And this is art from Samantha Safruk, who is a very amazing artist who creates art on rocks. And this rock was gifted to my daughter. I just brought it for someone who might want to use a reference. I'm painting without a reference, and I will be making something different out of that. So we have the connectors. I choose the biggest size. We have the board, quite a typical tool for what we're making. So if someone does not like the shape, we could cut here and there. Oops. Then we have the connectors, and I choose the biggest size because it's what works on a bookmark, unless you want to really cut it on the very end. Then we have several different charms. I brought 3 kinds. So wheel parrots, elephant family, and
Let me zoom in on that.
and if you have plants, you can you have something in mind. You can just attach anything. So we can just keep the connector without anything else. And I have a hole puncher, which is just might not be necessary. We have watercolors and we have paint markers, which are Poscas, but also I brought a couple of other kinds. So this is just a pen. This is all Posca. This one is acrylic paint marker, or a different kind I showed earlier. This one is Tule Art, silver. The gold is from another set, and this is a very thick gold. And this one is Artistra, yellow. Okay, so the tone bows are, this one is one-sided, this one is both-sided, so one side has the gray, another side has the black. Might not be a very definite black for some would prefer black, Posca, and white. So black and white are the most used possible. I would assume I use them the most myself. When I come to, so this part is very bright, this part is blended and muddy by itself. But it's good for some, you know, I'm easily covering it without thinking, oh, I'm covering something good. So I'm good with that. And yes, I do have the curved nose pliers, which are good for connecting anything to anything. Brushes from Studio Central. And here are we do have the scissors and watercolors. So I could just use any of this. We have more. And we have Ollie and Megan here. We're going to make some. And I made different sizes. So you can choose from this. There are thicker ones, which you can go with a little bit on a bigger scale. But there are small bookmarks. This is watercolor paper. I just got it. And I can choose the one I started doing something on accidentally. So anyway, I will just pass you the bookmarks and you can choose. This is what you want. Is one speaking to you?
Oh my goodness. I think this one. That one. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so do I want to keep the connector on? I possibly don't want to. I will take it off. So it's easy to take it off and keep it here together with the tool. I do not need the knife, but if someone wants the knife to cut a bit more right here.
I already took a tiny one, so I don't think I need to chop off anything.
So I'm not sure if everyone knows how to do that, so I will show it really quickly.
Okay.
You know, I'll show.
I trimmed mine with scissors. I apologize. I didn't.
No need to
I
apologize.
did it before the. I
do
didn't
not
know that
mean-
was there. I love those things though. They're awesome.
Okay, so this one is not cut as evenly, so I might want to fix it. So I would just put it inside, and I just want to keep this side even. So I'm going by the evenness of this side, and then it doesn't go out too much, so I just push it a real tiny bit, like this. So let's see if that happens. So yeah, I'm not even. I'm not
You didn't
really
even use the cutting tool on it. There's a cutting tool there too.
Yeah, I don't use it because it's not really good for me, so I would just try another time.
Yeah, I know some of the ones at Studio Central are really dull.
Oh
So-
yeah. Sometimes you have to sharpen them or get a new replacement blade. But then when you do use the actual tool, you want to make sure that your
Something
pieces
like that.
flush up against the
I
edge.
cannot say I'm really even. Even if I try to, it still goes to the side.
Yeah.
And
We are all
yeah.
perfectly imperfect, and we are fabulous that way. If you want that much perfection, buy a machine,
Yeah.
and it's going to be expensive, and it won't be handmade, and it'll lose its charm. It'll be soulless. We love our soul.
So there is a preference of a moment. I can go with something really simple like shapes, and for that I do not need a thick brush. I can just choose any brush like this as an example, and just go make several shapes, and that's what I can start with. So what's exactly, where does it,
Around here.
around here, okay, so I can move it. Alright, so I start with adding some water, and I'm not necessarily sure about how it works at first, so I might want to try it somewhere else. So some watercolors are not doing the same job as what I expect from my own watercolors, so I could just.
What are you thinking of painting?
So this is just black.
My theory today is if the paint ends up at all on the piece, I'm good.
That's fair. You know, different goals every day.
Right?
So I'm just making smaller movements. Considering it's a bookmark, I do not want to go too much over things.
Trying to free flow it a little bit.
Yes, I need something to begin with.
Yeah.
So I usually start with something like that.
I feel like I need to come to these with more of a plan because immediately I'm like 5 minutes behind because it takes me like an extra 5 minutes to think of what I'm gonna do. Not that there's a race.
I was trying to come up with a plan and I did not come to anything, even though I had lots. I went through several books and I checked on some drawings and I found nothing that I want. I just wanted nothing from there.
Yeah. And that's okay. Sometimes art can just become itself.
So I'm just going with free flow in this case. And that's the case in many cases. Again, not everyone has the plan, and it should not prevent you from making art.
That's true.
And that's the idea of how to create when you don't have plans and they just don't come up in your mind. It happens.
Yeah, that's true. I don't need to overthink and it's better to come up with something than to overthink and then do nothing.
I mean, and like on the opposite end of that, I love how, well, I love how some folks can just like say, you know, this is my de-stressor. I'm just gonna let out whatever I'm feeling, and then that's my art. And then other folks have a detailed plan, almost scientific, or even possibly sometimes it is scientific in nature, and can also create just remarkable things. Both ways are wonderful, and this is.
And there's lots of people that do both.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's like even if you have a plan for your most, whatever pieces, you don't always need one.
Exactly.
Really.
Depends on the day. And sometimes it can depend on the purpose of the art. Like, are you creating today? Is this for a monetary value? Is this for expression? Is this for a release? Is it just because you want to have fun and make something?
Mm-hmm.
All of those factors can go into the way that you develop your creation.
Mm-hmm.
So while it's drying, because I'm going to go over with a paint marker, and I don't want to fill the whole space because paint marker would go in between that.
Yeah.
I would take a different one. Random one. Okay, that's the random I cut unevenly, and someone would get an uneven bookmark.
I don't think people are measuring their bookmarks. I never have. I saw an interesting video though once, and it was just someone compiled photos of things different people use as bookmarks. And lots of receipts, of course, and there's like actual bookmarks, like some really cool bookmarks, homemade, store-bought, and just random objects.
I love that. Or flowers, or
Yeah, exactly. Once the library called me, they're like, "We found a piece of art in the book you just returned. Do you want that?" I was like, "Yes."
I love when you're speaking of like things that you find in books. I was at Value Village the other day looking for I always look for cameos because I collect them, but they didn't really have any. But I ended up looking through the books, and they had some amazing books on the history of different places within Winnipeg, or within or around Winnipeg. And there was this one book, I don't remember what city it was, but it actually had in between one of the pages a dinner card from like 1913. It was almost like a menu of an award event here in Winnipeg.
That's so cool.
It was really cool. I was like, this is
the
awesome.
thing I live for.
I wanted to buy it, I just didn't have money on me. I might go back for it, so I'm not going to say where or what the book was, but.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I love like old postcards and like especially already used ones.
Yes.
Like I have a couple. Like, I'm sorry for encroaching on your privacy, but this is so fun and cool.
Right?
I like also have my own box of cards and like note cards that my friends and family give me.
Yep.
So just it feels so like it's so cute.
For sure. Sometimes you'll find like recipes in a book or the I love when we find like things that are just little notes.
Oh, I also saw a little sad thing, but I saw something recently that they found their grandmother's book that they wrote about them, and it's all about like them as a baby.
So sweet. I think
It's so adorable. It's like
About
it's about like their grandma wrote about them, and there's like every day like of them as a baby and stuff. And so it's like you took your first steps today, but I'm keeping it a secret because your parents are supposed to see be the ones that see your first steps.
It's so sweet.
It's so cute.
I love that.
I wish I knew where I saw it. I don't remember anymore.
I love stuff like that. Yeah, when I got my it took forever, like through the pandemic with my dad's estate. When I ended up getting a box with some of his things, I found that a friend of our family continued, like even after my parents got divorced, one of my mom's friends still sent him birthday cards and Christmas cards and all of those things. And that friend actually just passed away recently, and we attended a ceremony of, like, you know, a celebration of life. But it's just amazing how all of us connect, and some of us keep in touch in ways that we wouldn't expect.
I think people also don't realize how much people think about them.
Yeah.
Like, everyone thinks, oh, I'm just, you know, kind of in your own head and thinking about what you think. And like, if you're not directly interacting with someone, you're like, oh, they don't care about me.
Yeah, if you're not sending a text message every day. But, you know, I feel like some of my best friendships that I've had, we could literally go 6 months without chatting with one another, but we've been friends since we were like 10 years old.
Yeah. Then you like see each other and it's just like the same. But I know personally I'm really terrible at keeping contact between seeing people in person. So I'm very clear where it's like, if you don't hear from me for like 6 months, it's not because I don't like you. I absolutely love hanging out with you. I just, like, it's not ingrained in me to be social that way.
Exactly.
So
it's just not your mode of doing things.
And I find, like, just being honest about it is really helpful.
Yeah.
People know, like, it's so easy to be like, oh, they're not talking to me, like,
you know,
they must hate me.
I actually lost a friend, unfortunately, over the holidays for that reason. And it sucks because, like, this is a person that I, you know, they weren't like my best friend, but they were somebody that I had been friends with since, high school. And they're like, it's been 3 months. Can you believe you have not said hi to me? And I'm like, I literally, my very best friend in the entire world, I haven't seen in 2.5 months. And we've only sent hi and a couple cat memes to each other over those 2.5 months. And we are still very best friends. You are not my best friend, no offense, but you're not. I'm doing the best I can.
Like, I'm lucky if I see my best friend once a week. I think we've been pretty good lately. But we're gonna go like months without seeing each other.
Exactly.
Or even talking, and it's just like that's just how we work.
Well, I mean, when you think about the obligations in life these days, like, it's not that I don't want to see somebody, it's not that I don't want to have time to spend with them, but I'm dealing with some health stuff, I'm dealing with emotion stuff, I'm trying to make ends meet, life is a thing.
So all this to say, there are people that love you.
Yes.
Even if they don't say it.
And there are people that I love to the ends of the universe.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah, I do find it important myself to be very clear, because I have a lot of people that will think I don't like them because of my social awkwardness and my, like, unexpressive face and voice. So
what do you mean unexpressive?
I'm working on it.
You are amazing. You don't give yourself enough credit.
But just I'm not naturally very expressive. I do it more for the sake of other people.
That's fair.
So, like, if I'm, you know, not thinking about it, sometimes I'll be very, like, blank faced to people. And plus, in combination with, like, social awkwardness, you're like, you don't know what to say to someone. And then, like, there are times where it's like, I thought you hated me. And I'm like, I don't hate anyone. Like, there's very few people on my list. There are some. But trust me, if you're questioning it, it's probably not you.
Yeah. Because believe me, you'll know. I'll make this clear.
No, like I said, communication is important. I will say. Just say I hate you to your face, but I will actively say this is how my brain works. I don't hate other people. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I always feel like it's such a, like, green flag where someone can accept that.
And that's something that people don't focus on enough is green flags. That is a good thing.
Like every time I like make a new friend and I'm like, sorry, I'm a terrible friend, and they're like, that's okay, I still want to be your friend. I'm like, yes. Now I want to be even closer.
Exactly.
Now I want to make the effort.
It's like, oh, I don't want to chat all the time, or oh, I need, I'll only reply when I'm able, and that, like, okay, cool, I'll just send you something letting you know that I care about you, and if you don't like that, well, sorry, you don't need to be my friend.
Yeah.
I can save my joy and love for folks who want it.
Yes.
Like I'm terrible at sending messages though.
And there's no like wrong way necessarily either. It just if someone doesn't work that way, then the friendship is not necessarily gonna work.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm like looking at everyone's bookmarks. I finally looked up from mine. I'm like, wow, everyone's gone so far.
I don't know what I feel about mine. No, you have to though. You're focused on that those colors are just amazing.
Should I move the camera around to give a peek at over here. Mine doesn't really show up too much on camera. Oh, there you go. You can see it. I'm like trying to get a nice gradient of purple. And if you can take a peek, would you like to show yours closer? Or
hold on one second. I just want to get this line is making me nuts. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I love the yellow color.
Oh.
It's very like the greens and the browns are so. I mean, it's trees, so obviously it's earthy, but I want to say it's like earthy and very like.
Thank you. The yellow is my mom's
yeah. I also love that color. Personally, I specifically love specific yellows. Kate's done like 3 bookmarks.
I just started and I'm just going like this one is. I'm just adding spots. And I do not really care about this paint marker. I would not do it with a new one.
Okay.
But this one I can actually mix it, and it's an old one. You can just mix it with watercolor, whatever.
Sometimes I like having like worse materials or like old things and stuff, because then I don't worry as much about using them in different ways.
Exactly. Like, this was gonna go in the garbage anyway, so I can just use it and make something with it.
There's like less hesitation in your art.
Yes.
So yes, it can be mixed with watercolor. So since I put a little tiny bit of a paint marker, a little tiny bit, okay, it's not a little tiny bit, it's a lot of paint marker, I can always mix anything else in it. So I kind of wanted to mix it with a bit of blue.
Something I would say is a little bit more than a little bit, or a little less than a lot, or maybe a lot more than a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
I got into painting again.
That's good. That's really good. Oh. I lose words all the time. I was like, what I'm saying, I don't know.
Like the mind of an artist.
Yes.
Yeah, in university I was doing a project once, and what was it? I was like, I haven't finished anything, but I have something for everything. And like that's just how a designer brain works.
Right.
I meant designer brain as in like a brain of someone that designs things, not like my brain is designer.
Well, it kind of
You
is.
can now
when you think
purchase
of
a
it.
designer brain.
Okay, so what's left? I can absolutely add paint marker in the areas I did not feel.
isn't that Dan's expectancy. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Looks good on a distance. I cannot really see it close.
Yeah, up close it doesn't look so hot, but
If you always lecture us about,
I know, adaptations.
but I'm the same way too.
Adaptation.
Like, don't say any negative words ever, and then I'm like,
Well, you know, I don't have to love it. I respect
Yeah.
the process of which it is evolving, but I feel as though I'd like it to evolve differently.
I think it depends on like the emotion behind it.
Yes.
Where like it's okay to not like a piece of art or
Yes.
not like something you do, but like don't let like one thing like ruin your
Yeah.
experience.
Exactly. It's like the evolution of this is not recognizing my purpose in this piece. And that's where I'm at right now.
Okay, does it make sense what I'm doing? I'm doing something super standard, but I just let marker kind of go in, so I do not make exact shapes. I am making them more
Is there a
random.
standard in art? I don't know what standard means.
Well, it's what most artists do when it comes to doing something like that, and
What?
it's what works. It's the medium you have. It's
I-
what it allows, first of all.
I find in my experience sometimes we feel like things are super standard, but then realize that like what seems obvious to our brain might not be obvious to everyone else.
Yeah.
So I'll like not like my idea for like a project or whatever. And go, oh, it's so boring and obvious, and then I'll just like come to see other people and realize like we'll have the same topic, but no one did the same thing.
Right.
Mhm.
And sometimes you might have an idea and you just can't make it look like that, but then it becomes something else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, yes.
So I will wait with the areas that are too wet, but some of them are good. Like this one, I would be cautious about. This one, if it goes inside and it makes this little stars right here, that's okay. Then the question about varnishing, they could just stay without varnish, but watercolor, when it's fresh, it can mark, and then the varnish might stick. So the question of what to do with it, it's up to you what you want to do with it. But just let it sit for at least a week, maybe I'd say, before using it on a book.
Yeah, just
And
to
see
make
if
sure
it marks.
nothing goes wrong and marks. And keep your book safe.
Okay, so get a little bit in now, and I can just let this silver spread a little bit more. Right, so and this guy, I could always add silver with a bit of water and mix it in. And I know some artists do not like a lot of water for what the purpose they are making it for. But here I just like adding lots of water. Because the process is more enjoyable for me.
Yeah. There's no right way to do it.
And very often when I make something, I do not think about someone in particular. I don't have an idea what I'm making it for. Like, I can make it for the garden, just release it without knowing whom it goes to. But if I want to personalize it, I could always add detail afterwards.
Yeah. Art is only really finished when you say it's finished.
Or when it says it's finished. Because sometimes it'll tell you. I made them done.
Oh, almost onto the table. How does it look like?
It looks really cool. Oh, the silver looks so.
I love silver. I know it's so quiet. I'm just so over-focused on that.
Yeah. So I'm apparently losing my voice. I talk too much. I lose my voice very easily when I talk a lot. And I visited my grandma yesterday, so that usually makes me like lose my voice even more. I just talk at her so much.
I'm sure
hope she enjoyed it.
Mhm.
I should give you a moment to talk sometime.
Okay, so this is the shape that showed up, which can just stay the way it is.
It makes me think of like water.
Or it could be just, it can stay for someone's imagination. If
Yeah.
someone wants to make something out of that.
It's up to interpretation.
And then I might not like certain pieces. And then I can take black Posca and see if I want to add something on it. Personalization maybe. Just need to let it dry a bit more. So this is the dry part, and I could just add something in it right now, or should I wait? I can wait.
I'm doing this strange gradient thing, and it's such a fine line between being too light and being too dark.
Mm-hmm.
It's a challenge, but I'm enjoying it.
And yes, outlining always helps. So if I want to outline several shapes right here, doesn't have to be everything. Can I show the camera? This is Megan's. Yes, I like the yellow. And the black really added a lot of dimension to it.
Thank you so much.
Here you are.
Now I'll need to punch a hole and
Oh, yeah. Make sure you don't put any of the most important parts where the whole
right
punch is gonna
here,
go.
because this part is like the part that, like, I just don't jive with this part. I mean, it's
Okay.
real, but it's like, it didn't need to be in this shot of this. so.
Conveniently, you have to hole punch it.
Exactly.
So, sorry, goodbye.
Yes. Like, you will make an epic dot.
Yeah, we're coming to the end. Should we start should we start hole punching them and kind of putting them together?
Yes,
Yeah.
let's do that.
That's
Let's
good.
do that. So I just want to draw this little piece right here, but I can do it
Oh.
after.
Yeah.
And I'm not planning it exactly like this.
Yeah.
So just making a little tiny dragon. Okay, yours looks amazing. Ooh, I love it.
Simple but challenging.
Okay, so let's put everything together, and then I can add to it when it's completely dry.
Yeah.
Then I would be using paint markers. So this is what I came to, and here's the thing that one, you can see the difference. The charm would not connect here, so
Yeah.
this one I made it for a tassel.
Yeah.
So the tassel would go on it, and then I would add something on it to
Yeah.
match the tassel.
So,
But this one was made close enough so I could attach it. So I could just put it back.
How do you put a tassel on?
Just tie it. Just tie it.
yeah, depending on what kind you have, or if you have a loop, you can like put the loop through and pull the end. If that makes sense.
Maybe one day we can make tassels on
Yeah.
that.
We have an artist at Studio Central that makes some great tassels that we'll have to see how they do it.
So I was thinking about elephants for
Oh.
here. Like this one is for elephants. Buddha would go on this. I just need to make I would need to find where it goes to. And then this one would be for a tassel. And then I have a parrot, so I would make something for a parrot, maybe, if I have time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this one, I will just draw it, but I would not paint it. It would go for someone to
Okay.
color.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Okay, so I think we're good to show everything after we're done. We have
Yeah.
a little bit more time to
We'll finish
add
it
on
off
to,
and
or
then
wait until it
post the
dries?
final images later. Guess I will put my painting down. And I will let's see if I can take this off when you're there we go. We will.
Wow.
Thank you for watching, and see you next.
Bye everyone.